Finally, the day has come where I can show off the Miles suit to you guys and how to puff paint it, and also give a full review on the quality of the suit itself. I'm really excited for this video because you guys will get to see the full finished product of the actual suit and my experience with it. So without any further delay, let's get right into the video. We're gonna do this video a little bit different. We're gonna start it off with quality. In just a second, I'm gonna talk about where I got the suit and where I got the pattern to actually obtain this style of the suit. But for right now, starting it off with quality, I opted in for the super lycra fabric, which is the best fabric that they offer on the website. So I was like, this is the best fabric that I need. It fits to my body perfectly. I'm super agile with it. Like, I can jump, I can squat, I can do everything I need to do, move around how I need. It's form fitted perfectly to my body. So for anything cosplay related and picture related that I need, or if somebody wants me to do a jump or a pose or whatever like that, I can do it just seamlessly. It fits comfortably on my body. I'm not worried about it ripping or tearing or having any holes like that. And honestly, like, the quality is beautiful. Even with the puff paint, I thought the puff paint honestly was gonna wear me down. I won't be able to move as much because of the details in the puff paint. But honestly, the puff paint is still just seamlessly on. I don't know if that'll focus, probably not, but y'all can see what I mean. It's seamlessly on still. The puff paint is perfectly with me. Every time I do like a crazy move, jump, if I run into something on accident, or if anything were to happen, the puff paint is still there and it's perfectly fine. It's form fitted. The only thing bad about the puff paint itself is that it's very tacky and sticky. So when I'm doing stuff or I'm sitting down, you will hear like a crunching noise, but that's totally fine. That's okay. It's just the puff paint adjusting and moving back and forth, flexing with the actual fabric. So nothing wrong with that. But quality wise, this is a beautiful suit. I'm not worried about anything ripping from that super lycra fabric. Now, I do not know if you were to get a different type of fabric that is not the super lycra, if it'll rip or if it'll tear or if it'll do anything like that. I have no knowledge of that, but I didn't want to worry about that when buying this suit. So I just opted in for the super lycra. And like I said, everything's fine. Everything's movable. I can jump. I can. Oh man, I'm really Spider-Man.
Oh hell no, man! What the fuck?
Like, I can do everything I need to do within this suit, and it's perfectly fine and dandy. Now I'm gonna touch a little into the actual comfortability of this suit. I can wear this suit for hours and hours, and it won't feel bad or anything like that. And I have clothes on top of the actual suit when I'm in the Spider-Man cosplay, and nothing ever feels bad or out of place, or I'm like, I need to take this off. I wore this suit for about 9 hours at a con, like literally the whole day at the con. The full suit was on and I had no issues wearing it. It honestly doesn't even feel like it's there. After a while, you won't be able to feel it as much because your body will be so used to feeling the suit and everything will be conformed to the actual suit that you're like, this is just another set of clothes that I'm wearing. So it's honestly super duper comfortable. It's not too tight. That's why you gotta make sure that if you're gonna buy a suit, get your measurements right. Do not buy a pre-made, or not pre-made, a pre-sized suit, because it won't fit you as best as a suit that you have custom fitted to yourself. So always get a suit that's custom fitted. If you know your measurements and if you're super duper confident that it will fit you, you can go for the pre-sized suit, but I don't recommend it, since that if you were to get a suit that's form fitted to yourself, it'll be so seamless and comfortable, and it'll probably look a lot better than if you got a pre-sized one, because you got your own measurements and everything custom tailored to you. But like I said before, for the comfort, it's chilling, like nothing crazy. What I do recommend, if you're putting on this suit, get yourself a little Under Armour compression shirt and get you some compression sleeves, because it makes it 10 times easier to put the suit on. This suit is really difficult to put on when you first get it because you gotta break it in. Probably a lot of Spider-Man cosplayers that are watching this video already know that. They're like, you're stupid, I already know that. I learned that you have to break the suit in before anything. My brother was like, you gotta break it in, you gotta break it in. If you're doing it for the first time, get you a compression shirt, compression sleeves, and you can zip it up a lot easier. Even now, I kept it open because I can't really zip this up. I still need help zipping it. Maybe if I break it in a few more times wearing it, I can actually zip it up myself. If not, it's not that hard to get somebody to be like, yo, can you zip this for me? Boom, boom, boom. Opt in for a compression shirt, compression sleeves, and a balaclava if you are wearing the mask, because the balaclava will help you put that mask on way easier and way better. Now, moving on to where I actually got the suit. First things first, shout out to my brother for putting me on both of the websites that I'm about to mention right now, because if it wasn't for him, I would not have gotten a suit as good as this one. I'm just gonna say that. He put me on to all the different sites and all the tips and tricks. But moving on, I went to this site called Print Costume at first, and I was gonna browse around and I was gonna get the Miles suit on this website, but my brother was like, no, go to this site called Real Heroes Design and get the pattern from this website and input it onto the Print Costume website so you can get the fabric from them and the pattern from here and mix it together to get an awesome suit. This site sells many different types of patterns. Obviously, I got the Into the Spider-Verse pattern for me. This is the exact one I bought, but they sell many different types of patterns. They sell Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland. They sell Spider-Man suits from the games. They sell Superman stuff, all types of different patterns. So I highly recommend to buy a pattern from here and input it back into the different website of your choosing. Obviously, I opted in for the Into the Spider-Verse cosplay pattern. It's $40. I don't know if they do any types of deals or Black Friday deals since the holidays are coming up, or any type of codes, coupons, anything like that. You can try, because promise me, you will want to try, because this pattern is a little expensive. If not, you can buy it for $40, and I promise you it's worth it. You can see it firsthand on me right now. But I went back to this Print Costume website, then I went to custom printing and sewing services. Now from here, you buy the file or any type of pattern you want. It doesn't even have to be from this website. Just get yourself a pattern that you would like. You link it here, paste it there, and then you put all your measurements. Now, like I said in the beginning of the video, I highly recommend you to put your measurements in rather than getting a pre-sized suit. The main reason is you don't know if that pre-sized suit will fully form fit you or be like sized as you want it to be. It can come in many different sizes because this is also different height ratios. So if you feel very, very confident in yourself that you know I wear this 100% and it will fit me, go ahead and get the pre-size. But I highly recommend doing your measurements here. It's not that many measurements that you really would need to do. And if you had suits before, or if you sized yourself before for like wedding suits or like prom suits or stuff like that, you already would know your size. If you don't, it's very, very easy to size yourself, and you could just keep those measurements for the future. I highly recommend it to do it like this. For all the custom options, you can do whatever you want. I highly recommend, if you're a dude, to get a crotch zip, because you do not want to take the full suit off to go take a piss. Just get a crotch zip. It's worth it to get a crotch zip. I opted for no open eye holes for the helmet. I have a full video linking on how I made the helmet. It's going to be up on the screen. I won't talk about it as much, but for the helmet, I opted for no eye holes because for my face shell, I had to cut it out itself because I did a different type of face shell than it normally would give you on the website. You can opt in for puff painting here. Now, if you do opt in for puff painting, I do not know how it would look like and how they puff paint the actual suit. But if you want that feel of like, dang, I did it myself and I did a good job, and probably you might be able to do it better than the website, puff paint it yourself, then don't opt in. Now, another thing about the puff painting that I should have mentioned first was it's $88 to puff paint. Puff paint on average costs about $4 a bottle, and one bottle can get you probably 2 body parts done with just one bottle. It is way more expensive to pay $88 for puff paint on the site rather than just puff painting it yourself for way cheaper. I probably spent on all my puff paint a total of about $35 for the entire puff paint on this entire suit. So I wouldn't recommend doing it here. You could do screen print emblems as well. I don't opt in for the screen print emblems. I kind of like just the basic emblem with the puff paint going around it, but you can opt in for the screen print emblem if you do choose to do so. Neck zip. I do have a neck zip on here. It's easier to get in and out, and it's easier for me to breathe to get it off and do everything I need to do. So I do highly recommend a neck zip. I recommend a mask zip as well. To put on the mask, it's easier to zip it up and down. You can get both. They send you 2 different masks. The second mask you get will not have a neck zip on it, and it's okay because it's still easy to put on, but the neck zip just makes everything way more convenient. Forearm zips. You want forearm zips. If you can see on the screen here, you can zip it up and down. You don't want to strain yourself into putting it on, so I recommend getting a forearm zip. And then you can get a female cross zip as well. If you are a female watching this video, get a female cross zip as well, because I'm telling you, you do not want to take everything off when you got to take a piss. You do not want to take the full thing off. You can get feet detached or feet on, which means you get shoes or not shoes. For Miles Morales, I'm wearing the Jordans, so I offered for no shoes, but you can get shoes if you want. You can get an extra mask if you want. They already send you 2. I don't know, I think this is what you got to do to get to, so I highly recommend it because I messed up on the first helmet, on the first face shell, sorry. I got me another one and I bodied that one, so get you 2 just in case anything happens to the first one. You always want an extra one. You can get a detached mask. I don't opt in for that. Detached gloves, I don't opt in for that either. I want everything all in one. And then ankle zip, I didn't opt in for it. A lot of people do like ankle zips because you can take it off and have your feet out, or you can put it back on. I didn't do it, and you could add leather details. I don't really know much about that, and I just didn't do it. Continuing on with the suit, for the zip for entry, I did the back invisible U-zip. If you do the regular zip, it'll be way harder to do it. The U-zip allows you to have that little U shape that you've seen on my back that I've showed earlier in the video. That is way easier to get in and out of the suit, and it's way bigger because it gives you 2 zips. So I go for the U-zip. You can do whatever is comfortable for you and whatever works. And then you can do your shoe size if you do want the shoes. If you opt into buying the shoes with the suit, you want your shoe size on there. This is the actual fabric that I chose. I chose the thick super lycra. I chose the super lycra, not the thick color one, because there's no point in doing the color ones on the black. I did the super lycra. The super lycra, you could stretch it a lot more. And when you stretch it, the white on the actual suit, like the white base, won't show as much. So that's why I opted in for the super lycra, because it's way more stretchy than the regular. Then you can attach lenses if you want to do lenses. If you're not doing a face shell and you want just the base thing that they offer, you can do lenses, you can do face shells, you can do whatever you want. And that is all for the custom tailoring of the service that they offer. I highly recommend, again, to do this. Do not get a pre-sized suit because you don't know if it will fully fit you. I promise you, this will fit you a lot better. And especially if you give them your exact measurements, you will have it. Now, it is high risk, high reward. You won't know if you got the right measurements or right thing going on. If you didn't do it right, or if it's your first time doing it, I understand that, but the payoff is way better than getting a pre-sized suit. Now, moving on to the puff paint, I went to Michael's. You can go to any craft store or any home appliance store. Puff paint is pretty widely accessible. Walmart has it, Amazon has it, but the black puff paint in particular is very, very scarce. This one is the scarce one. Every other puff paint that I've seen is very widely accessible. For some reason, the black puff paint is the only one that's not as very available and accessible as every other color. Now, online on Michael's, you can get the puff paint shipped to you, or you can actually go in store, and sometimes luckily they will have it, but most of the time that I went in multiple different stores, they did not have the black. So look out for that. Puff paint in general for many other different colors are very, very widely accessible and easy to get. Now, for actually puff painting the suit, I got these little nozzle extruders on Amazon. These are very good because they pinpoint the puff paint on to where you actually need it. And I needed all these little details right here to be puff painted. I didn't do the inside because it'll look better just to have the outside done and have the little lines. All those little details, I puff painted every single thing on the entire suit. All of it is puff painted. With the puff paint, you have to take your time and practice. You will not get it on a first go if you've never done it before. So I recommend you try it out, get paper towels, get stuff that you don't really need, and just sketch and try to get it to the perfect extrusion, because you need to do it for every single one. It has to be consistent. And I recommend you highly recommend take your time. Do not rush the puff paint. Just let it go and take your time. Put on some music, watch some YouTube videos, watch a podcast, do whatever you need to do, but take your time and do not rush it. For the actual lining or webbing of the suit, I picked up this metallic puff paint right here. This was way easier to get and way more easier accessible than the black. At every Michael's that I went to, they had at least 2 in stock just sitting there, so it's way easier to get. And for the actual bottle and nozzle, I got this flat-headed nozzle that my brother gave me, since this one was way easier to put it on, and it laid it on thick and easy enough that I needed to get it on this suit. So I recommend getting a flathead one or something a little bit thicker so you can get those lines as good as you need it to be. There we go. So yeah, I recommend to get that one. It's easier to get the lines down, and it comes out very, very thick. Not too thick, but thick enough for where the lines can get really covered and really show. I used a method that I personally will probably be the only one to use and have. I used a ripped gaming chair pillow. Now you need, hear me out, you need to have the suit itself have something inside of it so it can lift it up and down so it doesn't stick onto the other side. You need something to separate it. I just happen to have these ripped on my old gaming chair pillows that I've used for every single limb part besides like the bane, like the back and the chest. I've used these. You can even see the paint is on them, and I stuck it in. You can use a pillow, you can use something that can fill it in, like a cardboard box. You can use anything that you have accessible to you to get it to separate the top and the bottom of the suit for the limbs. But if you don't, there is no you don't. You have to have something because it will stick. The only other option that I can see you can do is you can put like a box, like try to get a cardboard box and separate it. You need to separate it because it will stick to the other side once you put the actual paint on. I just happen to rip these off of my old gaming chair and just have these lying around, so I use those. And when you're done puff painting the suit, you won't be able to put it anywhere, like hang it up or anything. You don't want it to smear. So I just got a towel and I just laid the suit on top of the actual towel to make sure it can just rest and dry. So for the next time that I need to get the suit picked up or done, then it'll be perfect. Now, puff paint itself really do dry very quickly. It dries in about 2 to 3 hours. It still will be very tacky, so watch out for that. It still will stick and it still can smear because you need it to cure. All paints need to cure. As for the puff paint drying to the touch, it dries in about 2 to 3 hours and very quick. So if you do need to swap like a different position and you need it to be done quick, you can do that in like an hour or two. Now I know this was supposed to be a review video. I'm gonna give my final thoughts on the entire experience of puff painting, buying the suit, wearing the suit out in a con, how comfortable it was and all that. My final thoughts are, I would definitely buy another suit. This has been the most fun that I've had cosplaying anything like this, because Spider-Man is always going to be fun to cosplay and fun to just goof around with. The whole experience itself was very rewarding and very fun, and a lot of people look like, yo, that's an awesome suit. Is it puff painted? What did you do? Yada yada yada. And it just breeds a lot of conversation, and it really does make your suit pop. I couldn't do it without my brother, so shout out to him again. If it wasn't for him, I would not know all of these techniques and everything that I know now and how to be creative, so shout out to him. Yes, buy a suit, buy a Spider-Man suit. If you're looking and you're like, I don't know if I should get one, promise you, you will have the most fun just goofing around and cosplaying that you probably would have ever. And there's a lot of Spider-Man fans out there that will tell you the exact same thing. There's literally a sub community in the cosplay community of Spider-Man people, so I highly recommend just buy a suit and just get out there and have some fun. And I highly recommend that if you never did puff paint your suit and you want to take your suit to the next level, puff paint that suit, because it'll be so rewarding once it's all done. Yes, there's cons. It takes a while. It takes a long time. You will smear some parts, you will mess up some parts, and it will take you a long time. I'm not over exaggerating. When you keep puff painting, more of it spawns in for some reason. It will take you a long time, but when you finally finish the suit and you see it all shining and glistening and you have it just, you know you did that and you finished it, and it's the most rewarding thing ever. So I highly recommend it, and I thank y'all again for waiting for me to finish this suit. I should have had this video done weeks ago, but the suit was just taking me so long to finish, and there was so much more to puff paint. So I thank you guys for being patient with me. That's gonna do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video again and being patient with me for uploading. I told you I'm gonna get this video done quick. It should drop this week. When I'm recording it, it should be up this week. I'm gonna grind the hell out of this video to make sure it goes up as fast as possible, because I need to be more consistent. Thank you guys for being patient with me anyways. I see some of y'all coming back and interacting and being like, yo, I did this, yo, you should do this, yo, you should do this. Thank you guys for so much for sticking around with me and being with me through this entire journey, and I can't thank y'all enough. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, your night, whenever y'all motherfuckers is watching this video. And as always, keep designing, making, and building. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.